So if anybody who hasn't joined Google Classroom, you can just go to this code and just type in Google Classroom, you can join. I'll post all the homework and the handouts before each class for you guys to print it out if you want. Okay, so let's continue. So this box must be larger than 4.5, and it's also an integer, and it must be as small as possible. So box equals 5. The answer is D. And second one, if 3 times 3 times 5 times 5 times 7 times 9 equals to 3 times 3 times 7 times n times n, what is the possible value of n? So you see these are two threes here, cancel them out. Here's a 7, can cancel them out as well. Well, you got two 5s, and 9 can be converted into the square of 3. So you got two n's here. N squared equals 5 squared times 3 squared. So n squared equals to 5 times 3, the whole thing squared. So n equals 5 times 3, which is 15. Answer to second question is A. And the third one, the expression 6a minus 5a plus 4a minus 3a plus 2a minus a is equal to, well, this is quite simple, because basically if you see all the exponents, just cross them out. It's not going to be a multiplication, because it's basically just addition. So these two give me 1a, which is a, and a. It's basically just 3a. So the answer is also A for this one. So the fourth one, if 2x minus 3 is 10, what is the value of 4x? Well, there are mainly two ways you can do it. The first is just solve for x and times by 4. Second one, you can just solve for 2x, then times by 2. Well, I'm going to do the second way anyways, because there are basically no major differences between those two methods that you can use. So 2x equals 13. 4x equals 13 times 2, which is 26. So the answer is D. The fifth one, if z equals 4x plus y equals 7 and x plus z equals 8, what is the value of x plus y plus z? Now we have z equals 4. You notice we can sub in z equals 4 for this one, so x equals 4. Because x equals 4, sub in this equation, y equals 3. So x plus y plus z is basically 4 plus 3 plus 4, which is 11. So answer for number 5 is C. Well, number 6. Integer n is decreased by 2 and then multiplied by 5. If the result is 85, the value of n is. So an integer n is decreased by 2 and then multiplied by 5. So it's not 5. So it's not 5n minus 2. That's not right, because you have to decrease it by 2 first and then multiply it. So 5n minus 2 equals to 85. This is our equation. So now we're going to solve for n this equation. First of all, we're going to divide both sides by 5. This gives us 17. And we're going to add both sides by 2, or you can just see as moving the 2 to the right side. So n equals 19. The answer is B. The last one, if 1 over 9 plus 1 over 18 equals 1 over box, the number that replaces the box to make it the equation true is, well, this one's quite easy. I didn't really thought it was that easy when I was choosing the questions. Well, it's just kind of awkward because the last question in this problem said, 1 over 9 plus 18 over 1 equals 18 over 2 plus 1 over 18. Sorry. This is basically 3 over 18, which is 1 over 6. So the answer is C. Well, any questions so far? I guess no, because the people who have submitted the homework all got full marks on this. You guys really have talents. So here we have the actual questions. See, does anybody still remember those two equations we learned last time at the end of class? We talked about the algebraic solve for those two equations and geometric graphs. Remember we drew some graphs about those equations, and we drew some graphs of other equations. We extended graphs, geometric interpretation. Okay, so these two questions, I made those two, you can see, is not from the contest. It's not from the contest problem sets. It's basically made by my own. If you didn't do it, it's fine because it doesn't necessarily relate to the contest itself, but it's just a thing for you to extend your thinking skills. If you want, you can do this. Absolutely. If you say you can't do this, it's totally fine because it's not that important compared to the other contest questions. Okay, so the first one, in equation 5a squared plus 24a plus 27 equals 0, only use those two formulas to solve for all possible values of a. So what can you notice after seeing all those two formulas and this equation? Well, apparently, if you use the difference of squares, it's only b one squared minus another squared. So let's assume b in this case is a constant. So it will only be something squared minus a constant, right? It cannot be something like 24a. So I suggest that the 24a is only for the middle term in the perfect square equation. And its coefficient, since its coefficient is a positive number, well, that makes sense because it's definitely a positive variable, a variable with a positive coefficient plus another positive integer. Well, let's name them x and y. So what is x plus y squared? It's basically x squared plus 2xy plus y squared, according to this equation here. So we can see 24a equals 2xy. Well, there are probably, or we can convert it into 12a plus xy if we want. So what is 12? 12 can be divided into 1 times 12, or 2 times 6, or 3 times 4. Well, that depends on the coefficient and the constant. Well, what if we first let x equals a. If the coefficient in front of the variable is 1, in this case, 12a equals ay. So y is the constant. You just made it. So let's cancel out a. So y equals 12 in this case. Well, if we have this, y squared equals 144. And because x equals a, x squared in this case is a squared. So if you have 1a squared, what's you left is a 4a squared. Well, there's no problem in there because 4 squared is 4 is 2a bracket squared. We can also put in the difference of squares. But the thing is, we're going to take a look at whether the other constant, after you put it into a square root, it can also be an integer. So that all depends whether we can take it into a difference of squares or not. Well, if we have plus 144, but in this equation, we in fact only have plus 27. So the thing left, we have to subtract 144 from 27 to get negative 117. And the square root of the absolute value of 117 is not, it's not an integer. So we cannot put it into a difference of squares and then factor it to get the final answer. So we're gonna abandon this one. Well, let me just write it down here and just erase it later. Second one, let's let x equals 2a in this case. So because x equals 2a, 12a equals 2ay, and y equals 6. So y squared equals 26. Well, it looks much better, of course. So the constant left for us is 27 minus 36 is -9. Well, the square root of the absolute value of 9 is 3, is an integer. Perfect. So let's calculate for x squared. X squared equals 4a squared. So the a squared left for us is just at the coefficient of 1. So now after this, we can convert our original equation, this one, into this one. Because you see, we have an a squared left over. This is a squared. We have a -9 left over. It's a -9. And this is basically 4a squared plus 24a plus 37 plus 36. So we now get this equals to 0. Let me just add a new page in there. So what do you notice in this equation? Well, 2a plus 6, we can factor out a plus 3 in there. And here, it also has a plus 3 in there. So let's just do the factorization. We can factor out 4, which is the square root of 2, because it's basically 2 times a plus 3 times 2 plus times a times 3, a plus 3. So we can factor out a 2 squared, which is 4, a plus 3 squared, plus a plus 3 times a minus 3 equals 0. So this is basically 4 times a plus 3 is 4a plus 12 times a plus 3 plus a plus 3, a minus 3 equals 0. We can now make it into a whole thing, which is a plus 3 times a minus 3 plus 4a plus 12 equals 0. So a plus 3 times 5a plus 9 equals 0. Well, this is our final equation here. So if a plus 3 equals 0, a equals to -3. If 5a plus 9 equals to 0, a equals to -9 over 5. So these are our final answers to this question. Oh, I admit it's pretty, I didn't think it would be such a complicated questions when I made it, but when I was doing it on my own, I thought, well, probably nobody's gonna do this. So yeah, and in fact, yeah, nobody did it. At least for all the guys who submitted the homework. So now let's take a look at the second questions, this one. So after we did the geometric interpretation of the difference of squares and the perfect square equation, and I'll give you this equation here, and you can do the geometric interpretation of this one. So what is a plus b plus c squared? Well, if you say squared, remember last time we talked about squares, we can either do it as an exponent of 2 or convert it into the shape of a square. So this equation is basically just a square whose side length is a plus b plus 3. A plus b plus c, sorry. So now we have a squared and b squared and c squared. We have our vertical and horizontal lines here to cut out all the little pieces of areas that we need to get the equation for for solving this expression. Okay, so this is basically our graph for this one. Okay, so that's all of our homework from last time. So today we're going to talk about some word problems and do some little bit of extension at for the last question of this problem set. So now, I'll let you guys to maybe do some questions on your own. Like listening to me all the time is kind of tiring. So what about you guys doing those first two questions? I'll give you 2 minutes to do them. Okay, time's up. So first, notice that I've already written out the answers for those two because it's basically pretty simple, at least compared to the questions that we just did, right? So, have you guys learned about bar graphs before? Like those kind of graphs? And it's pretty easy to, yeah, I know. Okay. So these kind of graphs are kind of easy, right? So, I mean, you guys probably have no questions, just answering those questions. So first, we got 45 cookies at first, rate 4 the first day, 12 at second day, 8 third day, 0 fourth day, and 6 on Friday. And you're just gonna subtract all these cookies at this guy at 8, and you got 15 for the answer. So the first one is D, and the second one, basically just add those four things up, and you got 18. Okay. I don't want to waste too much time on it. It's basically the same thing, so I'll probably just talk about this question. She summarized the data in the bar graph shown. We're going to calculate for the percentage of birds that were goldfinches. So goldfinch 6, the total number of birds, 6 plus 9 plus 5. This is 11. This is 6 over 20. So now, if you guys want to do it more quickly, you can just leave it as a fraction instead of just making it as a decimal and then convert it into a percentage. I recommend you guys just doing this because a percentage is basically some kind of number in the numerator and it got 100 for the denominator. So you're just gonna make the denominator 100 if it's easier to do so. So it's just basically 30 over 100. So it's 30%. Okay. And for those two, do you guys want to do them? I mean, if we get through these questions more quickly, we can probably focus on the harder things more. Well, I'm just going to talk about it. So, for this one, you have 10 red candies, 7 yellow ones, and 3 blue ones. They're gonna she's gonna make it this equal numbers of those 3 colors of candies remaining. So what is smallest possible number of candies that she ate? So notice that the question didn't say that she needs to eat all kinds of candies. So it doesn't matter if you just leave one type of candies behind if you don't want to eat them. Okay, so in in terms of this, the 3 blue candies, she can basically just put it aside and just leave them alone. So you have 3 blue ones. 7 yellow ones, we need to decrease it by 4. You need to eat 4 of them. And the red ones, you're going to eat 7 of them to get all of them into the equal number of 3. So what is 7 plus 4? It's basically 11. Okay. And the fifth question. First 25% of the trails along a river, and next 5/8 of the trails over a forest, through a forest. And the remaining 3 kilograms to trail is up a hill. So how long is the trail? Well, you can first calculate for how much the remaining 3 kilometers of the trail is in the whole trip. You can calculate for the percentage of it, and then you divide 3 by that percentage to get the whole thing. So what is the percentage of it? 1 minus 25% is 1 over 4 minus 8 over 5. Well, what is 1 over 4 plus 8 over 5? It's 8 over 2 plus 8 over 5, which is 8 over 7. So this is 3 over 1 over 8, which is 3 times 8, which is 24. So the answer is 8. Any questions about those two? Oh, yeah, I know where. So, let's give you guys 2 minutes to do those 2 questions. It's just, again, quite easy. Okay, let's go. Yeah, let's talk about him. So for the sixth one, this guy's a professional runner, ran 5 laps around the track. These are his five different scores. So if any of you didn't convert the unit, well, if you want, you can type in the comments or I'll laugh at you. Nobody's gonna put 1 and 1.5 along with like 60 some stuff. No, this is basically stupid. So first thing you're gonna convert the units. This is 60 second. This is 90 second. Okay, here we're basically officially starting this question right now. So for calculating the median, we're gonna rearrange numbers from the smallest to largest, you know. So it's 57, 60, 63, 68, and 90. So what's the number in the middle? 63. It's A, right? Okay. On seventh one, the glass filled with water has a mass of 1,000 grams. When half the water is removed from the glass, the mass of glass in the remaining water is 700 grams. What is the mass of empty glass? So you can do it in this way. Glass is X grams, and the water at first is 2y because half is removed. And this is x plus 2y, x plus y, because you have the water poured out. So we have this. X plus 2y equals 1,000. X plus y equals 700. So if you do 1 minus 2, you'll get that these x's cancel out, and 2y minus y is y. 1,000 minus 700 is 300. So y equals 300. And if you take y into the second one, x equals 400. So the mass of anti-glass is 400, which is D. Okay, any questions for this? Well, I don't think so. Okay, let's move to our key points in this class. I'll let you guys, have you guys ever did this kind of questions before? No, okay. This is kind of new for you. I'll give you um 3 minutes to first try it. Okay, because this is probably gonna be a mess if you haven't seen them before. Okay, let's go. Okay, time's up. Can anybody tell me who actually counted by drawing the lines out, drawing the roots out? If you do that and you're not shy to talk about it, you can basically type in the comments, let me know. It's not a shame. We're not gonna laugh at you. This is yeah. So if you do this for the first time, I mean, like 99% of you guys will probably do it, right? Because there's no way you can actually not do this to solve the question if you don't know any method of this. So here we're gonna introduce you to a method called number labeling. Well, we're not gonna talk about it first, but first of all, this graph is pretty it's actually pretty friendly to you guys because it has arrows on it. So for each point, in this graph, I like you guys to find out how many arrows are pointing at them. Okay, so the first one, this is one. The starting point is one for sure, because that guy is literally right there. Okay, it's not anywhere else. And this is also one. So that's one arrow. This is three arrows. So it's three. This. Well, some of you guys may say, well, it has two arrows pointing at it, so it's two. No, it's not. Because from here to here, it already has three options to go to this point. So go to this point, we have this option right here, which is from one here, and the other, we have one, two, three, three already. This is also the one option. So what we're going to do is to add one and three, which gives us four. For this one right here, it's the same thing. It's also four. And what is 4 plus 4? Because you both have four roots to go to this point and to this point. So for the last point, you have 8 options in total. So it's 4 plus 4, which is 8. So the answer to this question is actually C. For me, I don't really do like the drawing stuff, so I don't know. Probably you guys have like miscounted something. You missed 2 roots when you're counting by drawing the lines. But it's fine since we now know the number labeling skill, and it's really a quick skill. You know, you can do it really quickly, like in seconds, when you are facing with those kind of questions. So the answer is C. So this is basically why we're labeling the numbers and the logic behind the number labeling. So I have 3 different questions from easier to harder for you guys to try. The first one, I'm going to talk about it because it's basically the same thing as we just did. So in the city, by the way, those questions, I made them. So, in the city, there are 5 streets in the horizontal direction and 7 in the vertical direction. If one person needs to go from B to get to B from A, how many different routes does he have? So I didn't have arrows on them because basically just this kind of awkward looking shape. So squares and rectangles. Okay. So if you're going to go from A to B, you're going to the top right corner. So it's either you're going to go up or you're going to go right. So if you're going to right, these points along the side, they only have one option because it's a straight line. You can't go down from anywhere. You're just going up or going right. So it's the same thing for this side over here. If we're going up, these are only one options. Okay, so now for this point, how many options do we have to get to this point? If we're only going up or going right, well, it's basically 1 plus 1 is 2. So if you go from here, it's one option. If you go from here, it's another option. So it's 2. For this point, it's 2 plus 1, which is 3. This point is 4. This point is 5. This point is 6. This one is 7. You can see the super really, it's really, not gonna lie, honestly, it's super quick. It's one of the quickest method to get through this kind of questions. Okay, now we have 3, 6, 10, 15, 21, 28. We have the number here and here. Okay, and the same things for 10, 20, 35, 56, and 81, 84. Sorry. This 5, 15, 35, 70, 126. And if add those two up is 200, 210. So 210 different routes to go from B to go to B from A. Okay, so this is basically how you do this kind of questions using the number labeling skills. So now I'd like you guys to try the same thing, but a different version of it. So if C is now during construction and cannot be passed, how many different routes does the person have now? So I give you guys 3 minutes to try it. Or maybe not 3, maybe 5. Because it's kind of difficult if you have those questions for the first time. Good luck, guys. See you in 5 minutes. Okay, time's up. So notice I've already labeled for the sideline, so it's fine. It's the basic step. So now we're gonna start our number labeling now. So this one is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, there's not much difference from last time. This is 3, 6, 10. Well, we cannot get past this point, so it's definitely not 15 this time. This must be 0. So, which means we cannot go from here. So we can only get to this point from going up. So this point is 6, which you can also look at it as 0 plus 6 equals 6. So wherever is forbidden to get past, it's a 0. So for this point, it's 0, but doesn't mean you cannot get to the point after it. Okay, just basically adding on the numbers by 0. So this is 6, this is 13. We're just going to do the same thing as before. 4, 10, 20. 20 plus 0 is 20. 26, 39. 5, 15, 35, 55, 81. This is 120. So the correct answer is 120. Any questions about this one? You guys all understand? It's okay? Okay. So let's move on to the last question we have today. So based on question 2, if the person has to get past point D to see his friend, but still cannot pass C, how many different routes does he have now? Well, just imagine he's gonna go to his friends and play some video games and stuff, you know. So you cannot get past from C, but you have to get past point D. Okay. Think about how you are labeling a number this time. Well, I'll give you guys 5 minutes as well for you to at least think about it. So if you're doing math contest, you cannot just put it, if you see this question and you don't want to do it, at least you think about it, right? So I encourage you guys to think about it if you do not know how to do it. But I hope you guys all know how to do it. Okay, let's get started. So again, have to getting past D means you must go through the point D. like you cannot like do like in this way. It's not allowed because you didn't get past the point D. Okay. Okay, time's up. Um, I noticed that this is really kind of challenging, Is that I don't think I've received um the correct answer so far, but it's good because you guys tried it. At least you didn't say, "Well, I don't want to do this," and just decided to take out your phone and just start playing games. It's good. It's good spirit for doing math. Okay, so if you're going to must get through past point D, that means when we're only going upward or rightward, it means, for example, if at this point, you're not going to get to this point right here because it's to the right of D, but it's lower than D because you can only go up or right. So if you get to this point, you're only going right. You are not going to left and then up for D. Know what I mean? So you cannot go to the other direction in order to get past D. So in this case, all the points, this point, this point, this one, this one, this one, this one, this, and this, you cannot get past them. So all of them, you're gonna put a 0 in there. Okay, now we can officially start doing this question. So same thing as usual, leaving the ones on the sides. 2, 3, 4, 3, 6, 10. So getting to D has a total of 10 options. Now we're gonna go from D to B. It's our second section in this question. So you notice you cannot get past C. So what about those 2 points? These are 0 plus 0, 0, 0 plus 0, 0. Well, it's kind of embarrassing because there's basically nothing under here. Okay. So in this one, what is 10 plus 10? 0 plus 10 is 10. 0 plus 10, 10. 0 plus 10, 10, 10, and 10. This is 20, this is 30, this is 40. So the correct answer should be 40. Okay, any questions about this? I think there's gonna be questions because this is not easy if you do it if you see this question for the first time. No questions? It's okay, Henry. Really? You guys are all smart. Just understand it for the first time. It's not that easy, I should say. Yeah. So that's basically all the parts for our class today. We talked about some basic problems. Um, with the bar graphs, we talked about bar graphs very briefly, because there's not much things to expand on it. Okay? And we mainly talked about the number labeling skills in the word problems, this kind of problems. So basically, in the Pascal math contest, because basically it's grade 9 contest, it's not really a big deal. So it's not gonna make like super hard questions, like like this is probably considered super hard from them. Like it's not gonna be part A, no. Yeah, I can probably post all the notes into Google Classroom if guys want. I can probably just like make a different section called notes, and you guys can refer to it. I'll put the notes from last time as well. No, because I forgot to do this. I didn't remember to do this, but I think if you guys seen the notes, it's probably better for you guys to learn and refresh your minds. So anyways, in the contest, there's not going to be questions like this in part A. I mean, not even in part B. In part C, it's too short for part C. They're basically writing essays for part C questions, literally like whole page, something. So this is just for you to expand your thinking and to make sure you guys better learn this number labeling skills to practice it. So I'm also going to include some of those number labeling questions. I'm going to make some of the questions on my own and the homework, so you guys can practice it more. Okay, so that's our class for today. So any questions overall for this lesson if you didn't understand and something of it? If no, we're just end our class here, and I'll see you guys next Sunday. Bye, guys.